Hey y'all, little old black eagle here. Just yeah, for those of you who I've met through YouTube on Jesco's Jesco White's channel. Um yeah, in regards to all this Maddie and Jayrell grifting, YouTube begging, scamming stuff. Yeah, I just wanted to, I don't know, sort of respond to Sentinel Truth's video of the time that he spent with the uh, the glam squad of Michigan. Yeah, I'll tell you what, I mean, I definitely give kudos to the fact that, he went down there, he met with them, and, you know, for however long that he spent with them, he sort of had, I don't know what you want to call it, a change of heart, I guess you would call it, so to speak. Who knows? Who knows what tomorrow will bring? And, he seems like a pretty straight up guy. And, you know, uh, he did go down there and meet with them face to face. Of course, they would only agree to him for money. And, I'm not going to lie, I thought it was kind of funny how he took off on him that way. But because, I mean, first and foremost, who's worth $100 for 10 minutes of conversation? Really? But nonetheless, he's had a change of heart after having met with them. And, I don't begrudge that. I don't take that away from him. I mean, I've talked about it on my channel, having a daughter that was a heroin addict. She was a junkie. And as a parent, that was probably one of the most difficult times in my life. I lost a job over it. I lost a really good job over it because I was working 8 hours, sometimes 12 hours, and then I'd be out driving a half an hour away to go and try to find my kid on the streets, at soup kitchens, in shelter type places where people could go during the day to get off the street. And in the wintertime, it was tough to see. And your mind, in your logical, illogical way of thinking, you just go, why? Why do people want to live like this? And it's complex, it's complicated, there's no question about that. It's not as easy as saying, hey, there's a better way of life. Why don't you check it out? Because the truth of the matter is, a lot of people that are in that position, they've been going through all that comes with drug addiction, yada, yada, for a long time. And, what I've come to learn is that when you're in the throes of addiction, you don't care who you're hurting. You don't care if, your family misses you, your children, your family, your parents. You just don't care. And it takes a lot to not only get help, but then once you get help, it's not over. My daughter was in and out of detoxes, rehabs, sober houses, and yeah, it was pretty devastating. I talked to her one day, to go and see her this one time at this facility that she was at after she had been in the ICU for 2 days prior, that I hadn't been able to find her. Come to find out, she was at this facility. Talked to her, was on my way to go see her, and as her mom, I stop and I get all this stuff, like, mom stuff for a kid, cream and lotions and shampoo and anything that I could think of that would, whatever, just, you know what I'm saying. I brought her treats and a journal and, I tucked in like, a $50 bill and put some food cards in there for like, I don't know, McDonald's, a couple of sandwich spots that were in the area I stopped on my way. And yeah, I was all set to go and visit with her. And when I got there, she had checked out. And I was just like one more time going, oh my God, I can't believe that I fell for this again. And I'll tell you what, there were times when I'll never forget the time that she agreed to come to Thanksgiving with the family. And I went down to the shelter where she was at, and I picked her up. And we went to my sister's house, which is this gorgeous home right on the water in Maine. And when you get there, it's the place is just, it's the kind of place where you go and you just spread out. She's got quilts everywhere and these gorgeous bedrooms. You can take a nap after you have dinner, or she lives right on the water and you take a walk to the point, you pick up seashells and all that good shit. And, yeah, the very next day, she's missing in action again. And, yeah, to say it's a roller coaster doesn't even begin to describe what it's like. And, like I said, I lost a job. I'd work all day, then I heard she was, selling herself, and I was told where I could find her at a hotel. And I'd go, and I'm sitting in this freaking parking lot of this hotel, at 3 o'clock in the fucking morning, freezing rain. I had just barely enough gas to get there. I knew I'd be on E driving home for half an hour, but that's what you do, and while I'm sitting there in this parking lot, I'm thinking, what am I gonna do if I see her? And she tells me to go fuck myself again. It's crazy. It's crazy. I finally had to just, put the kibosh on it, because it was killing me. And it was destroying not only my sense of self, but the people around me. They were getting sick and tired of dealing with me, trying to deal with her. And I used to go to this program, Narcanon, for people whose family members are junkies, heroin addicts, you name it. A little different than Al-Anon, but ultimately the same concept of trying to figure out how to not allow yourself to get sucked into the quagmire of their addiction. So, yeah, I mean, I finally stopped going to it because that was just as depressing as what I was doing. You grasp at anything. You try to hold on to anything. And, eventually you just have to come to a place where you got to, I mean, at the time she was, well, to be honest with you, I'd been going through this with her since she was 15. And, yeah. And I think about the times when I was able to connect with her, and try to, have some resemblance of normality, So, I'd take her out for lunch and I'd take her shopping and, all these things that I was not knowingly, but I was thinking that this was going to make a difference. This was going to make her sort of see the light. Um, but yeah, I finally, not only did I need to do it, but I was sort of forced to do it. I just was no longer in the position where I could afford to, to do that financially, emotionally, on and on and on. I finally had to start taking care of myself. And yeah, it's not easy. And, I think I was writing on Sentinel of Truth, I think is his channel. But, I mean, I don't begrudge anybody that is trying to do something to help, because I'll tell you what, if it weren't for the people out there on the front lines, working in the soup kitchens, reaching out in a variety of different ways, these people would have absolutely nothing. And, I had a sponsor once tell me, you have to check your motives for why you want to help. And ultimately, I mean, it's a core, it's an innate thing of wanting to help, but ultimately you're trying to make yourself feel better. And it's a fine line. And so yeah, it is what it is. I don't know. I don't even know how I came across that channel, Maddie and Jayrell's channel, but I did. And as much as a stranger can be invested, I am. And part of it is, yeah, uh, it's like watching a train wreck. And at this point, I really have, I struggle to find any empathy for their situation. And the reason for that is because there are so many people that are willing to help them. There are so many people that have tried to reach out to them. They have a lot more support than the average working slob out there who needs a little bit of extra help, but either make too much money or, whatever reason, they're not entitled to it. Or if they have, some sort of injury, good luck trying to get like a workman's comp claim, or, any type of disability benefits. You got to do fucking backflips to the nth degree to get any kind of help. Yet there are people that seemingly waltz through the process and, take advantage of the system. So, it is what it is. And I don't know. I guess at this point, in regards to the Bando King and Queen, I'm sort of at an impasse, because ultimately, and I'm assuming most of y'all out there would never want to see anything bad happen to anybody. And in the big picture of things, if people allow themselves to be manipulated, scammed, taken advantage of, however you want to couch it, then they need to take a look at that for themselves. It's not my place to map out somebody's journey and try to instill my view upon them. They've got to learn on their own, like we all do. You know, it. But I'll tell you one thing that I have learned, and I read this woman's work. Her name is Byron, Byron, Katie, Katie, and she writes these books on all sorts of things, but there's a quote that she says, and it's everything is until it isn't. And what I've come to learn in regards to that one specific statement is that recovery, growth, all of that, it doesn't have to be this long, drawn out process. It doesn't have to be this arduous, trek, of changing your life. It can be as simple as stop doing effed up shit. Stop fucking over your neighbor. Stop scamming and lying and cheating. That's a start. Take responsibility for yourself. And, as a recovering alcoholic, you know your own. And it doesn't even take a monkey could figure out that these two are lying through their teeth, But, so anyway, like I said, I'm sort of at an impasse in regards to the whole thing. And, if I'm going to be honest, I've got to check myself. What is it about this situation that keeps me, sucked in or compelled to give my opinion, again, to strangers that I don't know, will probably never meet. But, I'm a straight shooter. You can pretty much figure out who I am on paper as well as in person. I write the way I speak, and, I can be abrasive, blunt, whatever you want to call it. But I also have circumspect. I also know how to, at times, rise above situations and try to get a more accurate big picture of things. And, it's like my sponsor says, what is it, Sarah? What is it that is got you so, in the grips of this situation? And when it comes right down to it, it has nothing to do with Maddie and Jayrell. It has to do with moi. So anyway, I'm rambling, and yeah. For what it's worth, I wish everybody much love, much light, and take good care.